Most shoulder tension in fencing really comes from bending the arms incorrectly. And people don't, they use too much effort, they lift their shoulders when they bend their arms. So this little exercise can help fencers understand this better. So first off, we're just gonna think about bending the elbows and letting the arms be very relaxed and using no more effort than is necessary to do this movement. Now, if I wanna try and use less effort to bend my arms, I can think of a couple different things. One, I can think about my arms are really heavy on the way down, I can just let them fall. Another nice exercise that helps you loosen you up and get good arm movement is to start with that elbow bend, then turn the hands, open through the back, and let the arms lift up over the head. And then come back down, so turn the hands and let the elbows bend, come down and unbend the arms. Fencers often don't realize how much movement there needs to be across their chest and across their back and through their head and neck area. So one exercise I like a lot, I call it big ball. You're going to hold a big ball. So if you put your arms not this way like we fence, but this way, and just lift up, it's easier to feel like you're holding a great big, maybe one of those exercise balls. It's easier to feel that there should be widening across your back and widening across your shoulders to make that movement. Now you want to go directly to doing that movement with the elbows bent like you're fencing. So the hands are open, the elbows are bent, and then we look for that big ball feeling here. So the elbows are under, but I'm wide across the chest, and there's a lot of freedom through here. I'm not pulled in here. I'm nice and wide. And as I drop the elbows, I don't narrow. So I can drop the elbows and stay wide. I can reach all the way out and stay wide. Now, since most people really struggle with tension when they bend their arms, and they bend their arms and get in all sorts of crazy positions, I like taking that movement very, very slowly. So I would encourage you to get on guard. So we're going to get on guard without the arms. Arms are down. And very slowly we're going to think of bending the elbows and staying soft in the shoulders and wide across that back like we've got that big ball, and elbows just move away and they come down again. Just move them out and down a little bit. Once we work with the arms, then we want to be able to get on guard in one movement with the leg bend and the arms at the same time. So it's useful to really practice that very slowly and carefully. So I'm ready to get on guard, and I'm going to think, always thinking up with the head, long through the spine, and my arms are going to float up and away from my body as my knees bend. Come on. Fencers often forget that this is a fulcrum, that there's movement through your shoulder joint. And once I bend my elbow, my arm moves this way. So if it was straight, it's moving here, and when I bend it, it's still moving here. So to make sure you get this freedom of movement, you know, like when you're running, there's just natural movement corresponding with your running. If I'm fencing and I'm shifting weight from forward to back, there should be that corresponding natural little bit of swinging in the shoulder joint. So I'm not really trying very hard, it's just moving with me. Okay, if we're working with an extension, one thing that's very helpful is to help your partner reach out, and really what I'm doing here is I'm helping them think of the two ends. There's movement here. Remember, we've got this joint, it's rolling this way. So it's rolling this way, and I'm going to pull his fingers out, and there's a really nice extension. Now your arm also includes, your arm doesn't end here, your arm includes the collarbone and your scapula. And when you properly extend, your back moves a lot. Which we learned a little bit about just with that big ball feeling. These are very, very nice. This way. When you extend, and you're just leading from the fingers, your elbow doesn't really straighten. It doesn't do this, which actually Jeff used to do too. It goes like this, and your elbow stays soft. So if my elbow is soft here, getting back is going to be real easy. It doesn't grab, and it comes back easily. One thing that's helpful to do is to have, I'm going to hold my hand flat, and he's made a fist, and he's going to push my hand to straight, and I'm going to create a little resistance all the way through, and he's making sure he doesn't grab in the shoulder as he does that. So the effort on this action is coming from here. It's coming like you're making an uppercut. It comes from the back of the arm and from the back. So it's this way. So you're coming from the back, and it's strong. And now it's also helpful to work as you recover. Think forward as you recover, because you need to keep resisting as you're bending, so you can go the other direction. Now once you're pretty good at extending, you want to be able to extend in movement. Now, from my perspective, the biggest problem that people have is they start to extend their arm and they sort of throw themselves off their feet. They're not really supported by their feet as they're extending. So I want to always have some support for my extension. So when I'm lunging, I'm really lunging with my support here on the back foot. You can see the weight is in the back foot. The extension feels like it's coming out of the back foot. In all three weapons, we often hit and then go backwards or as we're going backwards. In order to do that, if you think about widening across your shoulders as you aim your weight to your front foot, as you begin the retreat, this movement here opens you into it and you're ready to extend. So I can extend into a retreat and then step back. We do this in all weapons. Many people struggle with extending at different times in their lunge or in their movement, so I want to work with that a little bit. And if you think about it as widening across your shoulders, it should help a lot. So I can start the action of lunging with the widening across the shoulders, which takes me into the back foot, releasing the front foot. And then I could just simply let that extension go. So if I want to hit real early, it's really that action right there. Let's do that with a full lunge. Open the arm and hit, and then make the lunge. And hit, and lunge. Okay, now more commonly, I could start here and go slowly as I'm lunging and then finish. I can also start early and not finish but make a feint. So I can go feint and then finish. So I'm going to open into the beginning of the movement. There's my feint, my foot's in the air, whoop, and then finish. Okay. And then finally I can wait, I can start to lunge, and I should be soft. I don't want to hold back, but I want to be soft in the shoulders and then extend later. Okay, so I can wait, start the lunge, and then extend. All right, when we did the extension, we did this exercise where you push this way with resistance. We can also do that with parries to help understand them better. Here's the hand at the one end of the arm, here's the scapula at the other end of the arm, and I want him to push smoothly, and I'm going to resist it a little across. And just like most parries, the wrist starts to open as you go across to keep the hand flat, and then you can push me to 6, all the way, a little stronger, faster, good. Take me to 4, whoop, yeah, and just a little, I provide a little resistance. If we had a saber fencer, we could also do, we could go up with that, no, up with that, okay. Extremely important skill is to be able to parry as you're taking a half retreat. So Jeff, let's just first get a nice parry 4, don't go anywhere, just a nice parry 4, nice and strong and thick, that's it, do that again. And there's a sense of it being forward, that's very good. Okay, now let's take a nice half retreat, forget the parry for a second. So you're going to stay forward, reach back, come to the center, that's really nice. So as you're really balanced on your front foot and reaching back, you're taking the parry and now you're finding the floor. As soon as you find that back foot, now you're ready to lunge. You could release that front foot and make a lunge. It's my experience that people struggle a lot with parrying while they're going forward. And I think the biggest issue is they tend to stop. They start a step and here comes the blade and then they suddenly stop. You really need to let your weight transfer into your front foot and finish either the half step or a whole step. So Jeff, let's do a nice parry 4, just standing still for a second again. Good. All right, now I want you to start a step forward, weight's back, and then you're going to parry a little sooner. So my hand comes out, start the step, here comes my attack, and then just let your foot land, and now you're ready to extend. You usually don't need any more movement there yet. You're nice and balanced, ready to go.